Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Abhineet Shukla, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addresses Kashi Telugu Sangam, says the age-old relation between Kashi and Telugu is a reflection of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat spirit. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says India's trade with Latin America approaching $50 billion. Local police and army arrest a Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist associate in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir Tourism Directorate organizes 2-day Synth and Snow Festival to boost tourism. The fifth batch of Operation Kaveri flight arrives in New Delhi on Saturday with 231 passengers. So far, more than 1,000 Indians brought back home. Bangladesh's Army Chief General S.M. Shafiuddin reviews the OTA passing out parade, compliments the cadets for outstanding performances. In badminton, Indian duo of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty eligible for the finals of Asia Championship in Dubai. And in IPL, match between Delhi Capitals and Sunrisers Hyderabad is underway at Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday addressed the Kashi Telugu Sangam Ganga Pushkar Aradhana held in Varanasi through video conferencing. The Prime Minister said, the Kashi Telugu Sangam is the confluence of India's ancient civilization, culture and traditions. He said recently Kashi Tamil Sangamam and Saurashtra Tamil Sangamam were also organized. The Prime Minister said, the Amrit Kal is the celebration of India's diversity and the spirit of nationalism is reverberating during this Amrit Kal. Mr. Modi highlighted the age-old relations between Kashi and Telugu land. He also remembered prominent saints of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana on the occasion. The Prime Minister said, the centuries-old relation between Kashi and Telugu people is the reflection of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. Mr. Modi added that Kashi is developing at a fast pace. The Prime Minister exuded confidence in the people of Varanasi that they will welcome the esteemed Telugu guest visiting Kashi wholeheartedly during the Kashi Telugu Sangam. BJP MP GVL Narasimha Rao also addressed the program. The 12-day-long Kashi Telugu Sangam began in Varanasi on the 22nd of this month and will go on till the 3rd of May. The festival is celebrated every 12 years. Pilgrims from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana visit Kashi to offer prayers to their ancestors. Over 1.5 lakh pilgrims from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are expected to visit Varanasi during the 12-day event this year. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Handwara police along with the army arrested a terrorist associate linked with proscribed Jaish-e-Mohammed terror outfit. During routine checking at Ganai Mohalla Pazalpora Magam, a joint party of Handwara police and army's 15 Rashtriya Rifles intercepted an individual who attempted to evade the joint party suspiciously but was apprehended tactfully by the alert joint party. On search, one hand grenade and other incriminating materials were recovered from his possession. Preliminary investigation reveals that he was working as a terrorist associate for terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed. A case under relevant sections of law has been registered at Police Station Handwara and further investigation has been initiated. Under Operation Kaveri, the fifth flight, which carried 231 Indians from Jeddah, arrived in New Delhi on Saturday. A C-17 flight carrying 392 passengers from Sudan reached New Delhi on Friday. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said in a tweet that another Operation Kaveri flight touched down in Bengaluru last evening with 362 Indians. Meanwhile, two IAF C-130J flights carrying total of 270 passengers reached Jeddah last night. INS Sumedha also departed from Port Sudan with 300 passengers on board for Jeddah. In a tweet, External Affairs Minister spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said that nearly 2,400 Indians evacuated so far after the departure of the 13th batch of stranded Indians under the Operation Kaveri. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India's stand on counter-terrorism and fixing responsibility on terror funding at the SCO Defence Ministers meeting.
Hello and welcome to this program on India's stand on counter-terrorism and fixing responsibility on terror funding at the SCO Defence Ministers Conference. And to discuss this issue, we have with us Mr. Dileep Sinha, who is a former ambassador. Mr. Sinha, a warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Mr. Sinha, our Defence Minister, Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, has called upon the Shanghai Cooperation Organization member countries to collectively work towards eliminating terrorism and fix responsibility on those who aid or fund such activities. To begin with, tell us how easy or difficult it would be for this group to, fix responsibility of terrorism and also aiding and funding terror activities.
Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as you must be aware, has become a reasonably important regional organization, not so much because of its achievements, but because of its size. It is 40% of the world's population and 30% of its GDP. As you know, it started a long time back. It was started by China and Russia. And in the initial years, the focus was on military cooperation to reduce tensions on the border in Central Asia and then to reduce forces. Later, when the organization was expanded with the inclusion of Uzbekistan and China's interest in curtailing terrorism in Xinjiang increased, then the organization moved its focus more towards terrorism, and one of the permanent bodies of the SCO called the Regional Anti-Terror Structure was set up with its headquarters in Tashkent. Now, China's focus on terrorism in this organization is on Xinjiang to ensure that the Uyghurs who are fighting for their independence in that region do not find shelter in the neighboring countries in Central Asia or even in Afghanistan and Pakistan. For India, the focus on terrorism is on the cross-border terrorism that we get from Pakistan, primarily in J&K, but also in other parts of India. And now, the SCO has this important structure that I mentioned, RATS, rather ironically called RATS, in which there is an effort made to increase cooperation against both terrorism and funding. And lots of meetings are held. In fact, there are also military exercises, joint exercises by the member states on anti-terror activities. And in fact, some time back, even India and Pakistan had participated in this anti-terror exercise. But in terms of the cooperation that actually exists among the members of the organization, there really is precious little to talk about here. And one of the problems that we face is that the country that we are most concerned about on terrorism is Pakistan, which itself is a member of this organization. Now, ironically, Pakistan did not participate in the meeting of the defense ministers, which our Raksha Mantri chaired yesterday, but it participated virtually from Islamabad, and that too not the defense minister, but the advisor on defense to the prime minister, which shows how serious Pakistan is and how sensitive Pakistan is not to be seen but to be participating in a meeting chaired by India. We'll have to see what happens from the foreign minister, whether he comes or not, because he's also been invited. So here we have a situation where the organization, while it can certainly take some measures to increase cooperation among member states on terrorism, I'm not sure what it can do on preventing funding of terrorism, because of the fact that it doesn't have any mechanism to impose sanctions, for example, the way Financial Action Task Force, for example, has when it grey-listed Pakistan for 4 years. So the cooperation would have to be largely come from voluntary action by member states. And here one can only hope that as member of SCO, Pakistan will start taking some action. That's a fond hope. And China will also show greater cooperation in dealing, especially on the hold that it puts in the Security Council on listing terrorists based in Pakistan as global terrorists.
Mr. Sinha, our Defence Minister also expressed concern over the radicalization of youth in many countries, terming it a major security challenge and an obstacle in the path of socio-economic progress of any country or any society. We know that, in our neighborhood, radicalization is continuously happening. So if there are X number of people, subscribing to a certain ideology or a terrorist organization, they are being eliminated by the defense forces, by the security forces. But newer people are joining it because of radicalization, which is actually a root cause. So don't you think the organization SCO, including all the member countries, should target at the root and stop radicalization at the very beginning itself?
Well, yes, one hopes that organizations where governments meet, for example, this SCO, will at least highlight the problem and alert governments to this. But then governments are aware in countries like Pakistan, where there is state-sponsored radicalization of the population, especially of the youth, which become very fertile ground for terrorist organizations to recruit their foot soldiers. And this is the root cause of continuance of terrorism and the ability of terrorist organizations to keep getting new recruits to commit acts of terrorism on their behalf. Now, in the SCO, our defense minister has highlighted this issue. One hopes that other governments will listen to this advice, because as Pakistan has realized, radicalization radicalizes not only some organizations but the whole society. And then Pakistan itself claims that it is a victim of terrorism. But this terrorism is the terrorism that it has foisted on itself. And that is what happens when a society tries to foment or promote radicalism.
Mr. Sinha, don't you think the SCO doesn't have any power to impose, sanctions on the member countries? So that in itself could be a major deterrent and a handicap to, actually implement what all is decided upon and deliberated.
Yes, that is a problem that all international organizations face, except the Security Council, which is the only international organization which has the power to impose sanctions or even to authorize military action. But as we know, the Security Council can only act when the permanent five agree, and because each of the permanent five has a veto. And China and Russia are both permanent members, as are the three Western countries. So unless all five agree, the Security Council cannot take any action. As far as the other organizations are concerned, they can only act as organizations to encourage member states to take action. Now, the FATF is a Western organization where the Western countries, they sit down and agree upon certain action to be taken. As I said, since 9/11, their cooperation has increased and they have become a lot more serious about controlling terrorism. And therefore, they do take some action. For example, in the case of when Pakistan was put on the grey list, then Pakistan's access to international funding became so much more difficult. And that was one of the important reasons for Pakistan's economic crisis. So it took place slowly, but the impact was there. So countries which are major economic powers, they can impose sanctions either alone or multilaterally through their allies and bring about a certain change in the actions of the country that is affected by it.
Ambassador Sinha, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Bangladesh Army Chief General SM Shafiuddin Ahmed on Saturday, the third day of his official visit to India, reviewed the passing out parade at the Officers Training Academy at Chennai. He complimented the cadets on an impeccable parade. 186 cadets, including 28 from Bhutan, passed out from the hallowed portals of the OTA, treated the Indian Army. Bangladesh Army Chief General SM Shafiuddin Ahmed is currently in India on an official visit between April 27th to 29th on the invitation of Army Chief General Manoj Pandey. The Directorate of Tourism, Jammu and Kishtwar Tourism Development Authority KTDA is organizing a 2-day Sinthan Snow Festival 2023 at Sinthan Maidan, Kishtwar from 29th to 30th of April. The Snow Festival is being organized in collaboration with the District Administration Kishtwar, Jammu and Kashmir Academy of Art, Culture and Languages and the Army. Locals as well as tourists are upbeat over the event, which shall feature musical performances, adventure activities and various competitions. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said that Latin America is no longer considered a region too far due to a broadening of India's interest is the reason and deeper globalization. The External Affairs Minister said India's trade with Latin America is approaching a volume of $50 billion, which shows strong Indian ties with the region. Mr. Jaishankar was addressing the diplomatic corps and students in the Dominican Republic about India's engagement with Latin America. Underlining India's growing investments, he said, India today imports crude from Brazil, Mexico, Colombia and Guyana as there is a surge in investments in the energy sector. India's presence in sectors like IT, pharma and two-wheelers has also increased. Before we proceed ahead, let's have a bird's-eye view of the special events of the last week of the month. The past week saw the hosting of the 3rd Education Working Group meeting at Bhubaneswar, Odisha. On the last Sunday of the month, that is 30th of April, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the 100th episode of Mann Ki Baat.
G20 India 2023. One Earth, one family, one future. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
G20 India's third Education Working Group meeting concluded on the 28th of April in Bhubaneswar with a commitment to ensure the betterment of learners with respect to skilling, upskilling and reskilling. The three-day seminar and meeting held from the 26th to the 28th of April 2023 had discussions focused around Priority Area 3, building capacities, promoting lifelong learning on the context of future of work in the seminar. 60-plus delegates from 27 countries, including G20 members, and invited international organizations, including United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, were present. The three-day event commenced with a seminar around the topic of the future of work in collaboration with the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. It was divided into three sessions of panel discussions. On the sidelines of the third EDWG meeting and seminar included a multimedia exhibition on the same topic. Key participants in the exhibition were NCERT, Meitei, IKS, Indian Knowledge System, TriFed, Singapore, UNICEF, Meta, IIT Bhubaneswar, IIM Sambalpur, NIT Rourkela, CSIR, IMMT, Auroville Foundation and many other from industry, academia, government agencies, multilateral agencies, startups, etc., along with Experience Zone on future of work and large technology exhibits. The exhibition was open to local institutions, students, academicians and researchers from the 23rd to the 25th and 27th to the 28th of April 2023. All India Radio has created a vignette of selected quotes of the Prime Minister from Mann Ki Baat, as the program will complete its 100th episode on the 30th of this month. In the 99th episode of Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister spoke about organ donation and motivated people to save lives by doing so.
साथियों, आधुनिक मेडिकल साइंस के इस दौर में ऑर्गन डोनेशन किसी को जीवन देने का एक बहुत बड़ा माध्यम बन चुका है। कहते हैं, जब एक व्यक्ति मृत्यु के बाद अपना शरीर दान करता है तो उससे 8 से 9 लोगों को एक नया जीवन मिलने की संभावना बनती है। संतोष की बात है कि आज देश में ऑर्गन डोनेशन के प्रति जागरूकता भी बढ़ रही है। साल 2013 में हमारे देश में ऑर्गन डोनेशन के 5000 से भी कम केसेस थे, लेकिन 2022 में ये संख्या बढ़कर 15,000 से ज्यादा हो गई है। ऑर्गन डोनेशन करने वाले व्यक्तियों ने, उनके परिवार ने वाकई बहुत पुण्य का काम किया है।
In the 98th episode of Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister spoke about Jan Bhagidari.
मन की बात को आप सभी ने जन भागीदारी की अभिव्यक्ति का अद्भुत प्लेटफॉर्म बना दिया है। हर महीने लाखों संदेशों में कितने ही लोगों के मन की बात मुझ तक पहुंचती है। आप अपने मन की शक्ति तो जानते ही हैं, वैसे ही समाज की शक्ति से कैसे देश की शक्ति बढ़ती है, ये हमने मन की बात के अलग अलग एपिसोड में देखा है, समझा है और मैंने अनुभव किया है, स्वीकार भी किया है।
In the 97th episode of Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister spoke about adequate disposal of e-waste to save the environment.
साथियों, आज हर घर में मोबाइल फोन, लैपटॉप, टैबलेट जैसी डिवाइसेस आम हो चली है। देश भर में इनकी संख्या बिलियंस में होगी। आज के लेटेस्ट डिवाइस भविष्य के ई-वेस्ट भी होते हैं। जब भी कोई नई डिवाइस खरीदता है या फिर अपनी पुरानी डिवाइस को बदलता है तो यह ध्यान रखना जरूरी हो जाता है कि उसे सही तरीके से डिस्कार्ड किया जाता है या नहीं। अगर ई-वेस्ट को ठीक से डिस्पोज नहीं किया गया तो यह हमारे पर्यावरण को भी नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है। लेकिन अगर सावधानी पूर्वक ऐसा किया जाता है तो रिसाइकल और रीयूज की सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी की बहुत बड़ी ताकत बन सकता है।
In the 96th episode, the Prime Minister spoke about Namami Gange Abhiyan.
सदियों से कल कल बहती माँ गंगा को स्वच्छ रखना हम सबकी बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है। इसी उद्देश्य के साथ 8 साल पहले हमने नमामि गंगे अभियान की शुरुआत की थी। हम सभी के लिए गौरव की बात है कि भारत की इस पहल को आज दुनिया भर की सराहना मिल रही है। यूनाइटेड नेशंस ने नमामि गंगे मिशन को इकोसिस्टम को रिस्टोर करने वाली दुनिया के टॉप 10 इनिशिएटिव में शामिल किया है। ये और भी खुशी की बात है कि पूरे विश्व के 160 ऐसे इनिशिएटिव्स में नमामि गंगे को यह सम्मान मिला है।
In the 93rd episode of Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister spoke about the significance of sign language.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, कहते हैं जीवन के संघर्षों से तपे हुए व्यक्ति के सामने कोई भी बाधा टिक नहीं पाती। अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में हम कुछ ऐसे साथियों को भी देखते हैं जो किसी न किसी शारीरिक चुनौती से मुकाबला कर रहे हैं। बहुत से ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो या तो सुन नहीं पाते या बोलकर अपनी बात नहीं रख पाते। ऐसे साथियों के लिए सबसे बड़ा संबल होती है साइन लैंग्वेज। लेकिन भारत में बरसों से एक बड़ी दिक्कत ये थी कि साइन लैंग्वेज के लिए कोई स्पष्ट हाव भाव तय नहीं थे, स्टैंडर्ड्स नहीं थे। इन मुश्किलों को दूर करने के लिए ही वर्ष 2015 में इंडियन साइन लैंग्वेज रिसर्च एंड ट्रेनिंग सेंटर की स्थापना हुई थी। मुझे खुशी है कि ये संस्थान अब तक 10,000 वर्ड्स और एक्सप्रेशंस की डिक्शनरी तैयार कर चुका है।
In the 80th episode of this special program, the Prime Minister lauded the talented and skilled people.
हमें हुनर को सम्मान देना होगा। हुनरमंद होने के लिए मेहनत करनी होगी। हुनरमंद होने का गर्व होना चाहिए। जब हम कुछ न कुछ नया करें, कुछ इनोवेट करें, कुछ ऐसा सृजित करें जिससे समाज का हित हो, लोगों का जीवन आसान बने, तब हमारी विश्वकर्मा पूजा सार्थक होगी। आज दुनिया में स्किल्ड लोगों के लिए अवसरों की कमी नहीं है। प्रगति के कितने सारे रास्ते आज स्किल्स से तैयार हो रहे हैं।
In the 68th episode of this special program, the Prime Minister spoke about Atmanirbhar Bharat or a self-reliant nation.
आज जब हम देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं, तो हमें पूरे आत्मविश्वास के साथ आगे बढ़ना है। हर क्षेत्र में देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाना है। असहयोग आंदोलन के रूप में जो बीज बोया गया था, उसे अब आत्मनिर्भर भारत के वटवृक्ष में परिवर्तित करना हम सबका दायित्व है। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, भारतीयों के इनोवेशन और सॉल्यूशन देने की क्षमता का लोहा हर कोई मानता है, और जब समर्पण भाव हो, संवेदना हो, तो ये शक्ति असीम बन जाती है।
In the 65th episode of this special program, the Prime Minister spoke about how Ayushman Bharat has come as a major relief for the weaker sections of society on the health front, making the treatment affordable.
मणिपुर के चुरा चांदपुर में 6 साल के बच्चे केलेनसांग, उसको भी इसी तरह आयुष्मान योजना से नया जीवन मिला है। केलेनसांग को इतनी छोटी उम्र में ब्रेन की गंभीर बीमारी हो गई। इस बच्चे के पिता दिहाड़ी मजदूर हैं और मां बुनाई का काम करती है। ऐसे में बच्चे का इलाज कराना बहुत कठिन हो रहा था, लेकिन आयुष्मान भारत योजना से अब उनके बेटे का मुफ्त इलाज हो गया है।
And now for the G20 events of the month of May. 9th to 11th May, 3rd Development Working Group meeting in Goa. 15th to 17th May, 2nd Culture Working Group meeting in Bhubaneswar. 15th to 17th May, 3rd Energy Transitions Working Group meeting in Mumbai. 21st to 23rd May, 3rd Environment and Climate Working Group meeting in Mumbai. 22nd to 24th May, 3rd Tourism Working Group meeting in Srinagar. 23rd to 25th May, 2nd Trade and Investment Working Group meeting in Bengaluru. 24th to 26th May, 2nd Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group meeting in Mumbai.
G20 India 2023. One Earth, one family, one future. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said The trade turnover between India and the Dominican Republic has reached almost $1 billion. Addressing the India-Dominican Republic business event in the Dominican Republic on Friday, Dr. Jaishankar added that a lot of trade is done in pharmaceuticals, marine, gold and paper products. He also noted that there are a few Indian companies that have already established offices in the Dominican Republic. Dr. Jaishankar also said there are some of India's big automobile dealers and two-wheeler dealers have also local dealers in the Dominican Republic. On the agreement signed between India and Dominican Republic, the External Affairs Minister said the two countries concluded talks on a joint economic and trade cooperation mechanism. He further stated that the agreement is in its final stages of approval and is expected to be finalized soon. In Badminton Asia Championship, Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty have entered the final of men's doubles, ensuring at least a silver medal for India. Their opponents Li Yang and Wang Shilin of Chinese Taipei retired during the second game of the semi-final match. The Indian duo won the first game 21-18. The final scores were 21-18, 13-14. The Rankireddy-Shetty pair defeated the seasoned Indonesian pair of Mohammad Ehsan and Hendra Setiawan in the quarter-final in straight games yesterday. In IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans defeated Kolkata Knight Riders by 7 wickets at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Put into bat first, Kolkata scored 179 runs, losing 7 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. Rahmanullah Gurbaz was the top scorer for KKR with 81 of 39 balls. Gujarat achieved the target of 180 runs in 17.5 overs, losing only 3 wickets. The second match is underway between Delhi Capitals and Sunrisers Hyderabad at Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. Sunrisers Hyderabad have set a target of 198 runs before Delhi. In reply, DC were 149 for 6 in 17 overs when reports last came in. World Veterinary Day is celebrated on the last Saturday in April annually, with an aim to raise awareness about veterinarians and their utmost devotion to animal health, welfare and public health. World Veterinary Day also brings the global veterinary community together and helps them in getting the proper assistance. The day was first recognized in the year 2000 by the initiative of the World Veterinary Association, that is WVA. Since then, every year it is celebrated with a different theme. Veterinarians are the only doctors professionally trained to safeguard the health of both animals and the populace. They strive hard to address the health and safety needs of every single species of animal. They also play a crucial role in environmental protection, research, food safety and public well-being. A quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addresses Kashi Telugu Sangam, says the age-old relation between Kashi and Telugu is a reflection of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat spirit. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says India's trade with Latin America approaching $50 billion. Local police and army arrest a Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist associate in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir Tourism Directorate organizes 2-day Sindh and Snow Festival to boost tourism. The 5th batch of Operation Kaveri flight arrives in New Delhi on Saturday with 231 passengers. So far, more than 1,000 Indians brought back home. Bangladesh's Army Chief General S.M. Shafiuddin reviews the OTA passing out parade, compliments the cadets for outstanding performances. In badminton, Indian duo of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty eligible for the finals of Asia Championship in Dubai. And in IPL, match between Delhi Capitals and Sunrisers Hyderabad underway at Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Bangladesh. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.